Just picture yourself walking down the beaches of Hawaii or walking up the streets of Paris with these beautiful, effortless looking hairstyles that only took you a few seconds. That's a vacation. Hi guys, welcome to Emmarie Lane, where my goal is to help you feel beautiful inside and out and remind you that you are enough, and also save you some money if I can. In today's video, I'm showing you 5 hairstyles for traveling, vacation, whatever, that you can do in under 10 minutes, because who wants to spend forever on their hair when they're on vacation or traveling? I don't. So let's get into the video. Okay, so we have this amazing, no French, no Dutch, any of that, crown braid, and your hair doesn't have to be like super duper long to pull it off. I have a couple modifications that you can use depending on your hair length. First, you need a scarf. You want it to be pretty long. When I was trying to show you how long mine was, I ended up backing into my artwork behind me and having it all crashed down, so that was fun. But it's pretty long. You want it to be thinner as well. You don't want something too thick, especially if you already have thicker hair. So first, you're going to just start off by draping the scarf around your neck, and then you're going to divide your hair in half, but make sure you're not creating a part in the back. That's key to this hairstyle looking like more French braid, Dutch braid-ness versus just normal braids. So you're going to split your hair in half, bring it to the front, divide that half in half again, and then you're going to do just a normal braid. And you're going to braid it all the way down using the scarf as your third section. Once you have it all braided down, you're going to tie it off at the ends. I recommend a clear elastic, even though I'm not using one, but they're a lot easier to hide if you have trouble with that. Next, you want to stretch out the braid. It helps give the look of that Dutch braid because those are normally fuller. And then you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Just braid it down with the scarf, tie it off, stretch it out. Okay, and then here's where to add in the modification depending on your hair length. So I got 2 options. Option 1 is you're bringing one braid just forward on top of your head. You want to make sure when you're bringing it forward that there's no bubble like right at the base, so you can kind of like take your other hand that's not moving the braid over and kind of just push it in there. And then you're going to pin it, most of it in place. Don't pin the ends quite yet. And then do the exact same thing on the other side. As you can see, my hair's a little bit too long to do that. Your hair has to be still semi-long to do this, but if your hair's shorter than mine and you can't do option 2, revert to this option. And then option 2 is bringing the right braid back behind your head and bring it over to the left and pinning it in place. And then you do the same thing on the other side, bring it over, back behind your head and pinning it in place. And then next, no matter what option you did, you're going to tie a knot or a bow depending on what you want to do. I did a knot because I didn't like the huge bow like right on top of my head. This is my personal opinion. And then you're just going to tuck in the ends of your hair. And this is where the scarf really comes in handy, because if you have that awkward length that doesn't quite tuck in everywhere, you can kind of use the scarf to hide your ends. Like tuck in the ends, and then whatever ends don't exactly tuck in, put the scarf right on top and then tuck the scarf in after that. And then if you have super long ends of scarves like I did because I didn't put in a bow, just keep tucking it and pinning it until it's gone. Keep messing with it. You can kind of stretch out the braid again if it got unstretched. Okay, so this next hairstyle is like a 2-in-1 depending on what you want to do with it. It's one of my favorites, especially for travel and summer and all that stuff. So for part 1, you're going to start off by parting your hair right down the middle. My hair is still kind of wet. This matters depending on your hair texture and hair type, so I'll explain that in a second, but it is slightly damp. I'm going to wet it down just a little bit more. I don't want to go overboard. And then I'm going to take a little triangle section on one side next to the part, and then I'm going to start a Dutch braid. And I want the braid to go from where I started to the opposite corner of my head, if that makes sense. So you're making like half of a triangle shape, and you want to take smaller sections. They don't need to be super duper like 2 hair strands tiny, but smaller sections. And then once you reach the back of your head, you're going to go in the opposite direction. So you're gonna do like an upside down triangle and work towards the middle back of your head. And then once you get to that point, you can braid it down normally a few times and then clip it off or tie it off or whatever for a second, and then you're gonna do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So the first time I saw the ocean, I was so little, I don't remember it, but the next time I saw the ocean, I was 18, and I just remember looking out and seeing that gorgeous water and thinking, I don't think I've ever seen anything so beautiful. And then once you have both sections at the bottom, you're going to take the braid that you just barely finished and put 2 of the sections together and then leave just that third one alone, and then you can kind of clip it off or whatever you need to do, hold it with your fingers, and then take the clip out of the first braid you did and do the exact same thing. Take 2 sections and combine them together, and then those sections you left alone, combine them together, and then you have 3 strands again. So you're just going to do a normal 3-strand braid all the way down. If your hair towards the end starts to get dry because you've been messing with it so much, you can wet it down a little bit more, and then finish off the braid, tie it off. You have this really cute, like, V braid, I guess is what I'm gonna call it. I don't know what to call it exactly. So I like to add a really cute headband towards the top when my braids are super tiny. I just have this little hair scarf, and I'm just gonna fold it up a few times and then tie it at the back of my head. You could wear a headband, you could wear a bandana, and that is part 1 of this hairstyle. So I did do these curls in my Get Ready With Me video I did a few weeks ago. But in this video, the way I did the braids are a little bit more wearable. So for these amazingly easy beachy wave curls, all you're gonna do is do that braid that you did the day before and sleep in it. Take it out the next morning. Grab your curling iron. And then touch up any curls that are frizzy or are kind of like flatter or have weird kinks, mostly focusing on the top. That's where you're going to see the most, and maybe on the ends a little bit. And then just hit it with some hairspray or some beach spray if you want to have a little bit more of that texture, or texture spray too, whatever. Or if your hair curls well, you don't have to worry about it unless you want the texture to be a little bit different. So starting off this next hairstyle, I have some waves from the other day, but all you do is, if you want to, you can start by pulling some hair up front to frame your face, and then you're just going to pull basically all of the hair on top of your head above your temples back, combing it loosely so it's not like super slicked back. And then you're just going to tie a knot at the top of your head. You could do it however you want. I just take 2 fingers and turn the hair 360 degrees and pull it through, and then put another elastic on top. I like to do elastic because it saves a lot of time with having to mess with bobby pins. And then if you need to, you can pin little pieces that are not exactly going your way, stretch it out, and then I like to leave ends out because I think, again, it makes the hairstyle a little more relaxed. And then I'm going to take a cute scarf and tie it around the bun. I think this just dresses up the hairstyle, makes it look like you spent a lot more time on it than you really did. And then just touch up a little bit of the waves. So for this updo, you're going to take basically all of the hair on top of your head that is above your temples. I took, not even above your temples, a little bit less than that. I'm going to gather all that hair up, smooth it back. If you want to, you could also take some hair from your face. So once I get that, I'll come back. I'm just going to elastic that hair in the back, and then I'm just going to do a little twisted knotted bun. You can do any kind of bun you want, but for this one you just put 2 fingers halfway down the ponytail and then twist them while holding onto the ends with your other hand, and then kind of wrap it around itself. Hopefully that makes sense. I bobby pin it in place, and then I like to take kind of the middle of the bun and stretch it a little bit. That makes the bun a little bit tighter and more secure against my head. That also makes it more full and big. And then next you're going to take all of the hair kind of like above your ears, get it out of the way for a second, and then clip off the rest of the hair that is not in a bun or out of the way. And then you're going to go to one side. This is optional. If you don't want to do this, you don't have to, but pick up a section right at the edge of your hairline and then do a couple of Dutch braid stitches. If your hair is super thick, you shouldn't really have to do a Dutch braid and add any pieces or add in any extra hair. You could just do a normal braid and stretch it out and you should be fine. Right now we're dealing with thin hair, so I'm just taking a few sections on each side and then just going into a normal braid like I said, right above my ear. Not super tricky or anything like that. Stretch out the braid. Do it on the opposite side. The first time I went on an airplane, I was about 10 years old, and I remember thinking, when the plane took off, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. Then add everything in together and then tie it into elastic and then do the exact same bun, and then you're just going to gather the rest of the hair into a lower ponytail right underneath that second bun and do one more bun, pull at it, pin it. And then you can kind of pull out the hair on top of your head a little bit if you want to make the crown more full or a little bit more messy. If you want to check out all of these hairstyles that you can do in a minute or less, you can click right here. I love you guys so much, and don't ever forget that you are enough. Bye!